In a remote village surrounded by wilderness, there stood an ancient banyan tree known as a place of terror and dread. Local legends deemed it as the dwelling of evil spirits, and the villagers always avoided it with deep fear. However, there was a young man named Rizal who didn't believe in such stories. He was an adventurous explorer, always seeking new thrills. One day, Rizal heard tales of the haunted banyan tree from the villagers. Yet, instead of fear, a burning curiosity drove Rizal to visit the tree himself. He planned a nighttime journey to the banyan tree, intending to prove that all the stories were mere myths. That night, with a heart full of determination, Rizal set out alone to the banyan tree. The dark night sky and the whispering wind added to the eerie atmosphere. Nevertheless, he remained steadfast in his resolve to debunk any fears associated with the place. Upon reaching the base of the banyan tree, he sensed a strange aura surrounding him. The leaves rustled above his head as if dancing to a haunting rhythm. However, Rizal stayed calm and began to investigate the area around the banyan tree. He walked along the winding roots that spread across the ground and explored every side of the tree with great curiosity. Suddenly, his steps halted as he spotted something behind the bushes growing beneath the tree. Carefully, he approached the bushes and peered behind them. What he saw sent shivers down his spine. Behind the bushes lay the ruins of an ancient structure, hidden beneath the banyan tree. The structure appeared long abandoned and overgrown with moss and foliage. Unable to resist his piqued curiosity, Rizal decided to enter the ruins. With caution, he ventured into the dark corridors within the ruins. The atmosphere inside was oppressive, making it difficult for him to breathe. However, the dim moonlight gradually illuminated his path. In the dark corners, Rizal felt as though something was watching him, but he tried to dismiss the feeling. Suddenly, he heard strange noises echoing in the distance. Indistinct whispers and eerie hissing sounds filled the air. Rizal felt his adrenaline surge, but his curiosity drove him onward. As he entered a larger chamber within the ruins, he was astonished by what he found. In the center of the chamber stood an ancient altar surrounded by extinguished candles and scattered bones. Rizal's breath caught in his throat as he realized he had stumbled upon a sacred place used for dark rituals. Suddenly, the hissing sounds grew louder, and Rizal felt a presence lurking in the darkness. He turned his gaze toward the source of the noise and saw a looming shadow hovering in the air. The shadow resembled a human figure, but its presence felt malevolent and threatening. Rizal tried to move, but his feet felt rooted to the spot. It was as though a mysterious force held him in place, rendering him unable to move. Panic surged through him as the shadow drew closer, its eyes glowing with a menacing red light. Without hesitation, Rizal screamed at the top of his lungs and attempted to flee from the grasp of the shadow. However, the more he screamed, the tighter the grip became. He felt trapped in a terrifying predicament. Suddenly, a deafening roar reverberated through the ruins. Rizal turned towards the source of the sound and saw that the structure was beginning to collapse around him. Large stones fell from the ceiling, and thick dust obscured his vision. In a state of panic, Rizal desperately searched for an exit from the crumbling ruins. However, the harder he tried, the more difficult it was to find a way out. He felt as though he were trapped in an endless labyrinth of darkness. When he was on the brink of despair, a bright light suddenly shone in the distance. Rizal followed the light in hopes that it would lead him out of the dangerous ruins. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of wandering, Rizal emerged from the ruins unscathed. He breathed a sigh of relief, grateful to have escaped the peril that lurked within. However, as he looked back towards the ruins, a bitter smile crossed his face. Atop the collapsed ruins, the banyan tree stood tall and majestic. Its ominous shadows enveloped the surrounding area, and the branches swayed ominously in the wind. Despite his narrow escape, Rizal realized that the haunted banyan tree held secrets far darker than he had ever imagined.